understand that the idea for the screenplay came partly inspired from your own life. Could you talk a little bit about that and creating the script?
Yes. When I turned 40, I started a new relationship with my now husband, Boris Torres, who actually did the paintings that you see in the film for John Lithgow. And it was the first relationship I was in where I would actually say I liked myself well enough to be good for a partner in a relationship.
That's
and
important.
I think it is really central, and I think that's something you see in John and Fred's characters, that they like themselves, and that creates an environment in which there's the possibility of love to blossom with time. And I wanted to tell a love story where you sense how love can grow.
Yeah. Oh, tell me a little bit about casting Mr. Molina and Mr. Lithgow as Ben and
well,
George.
Molina was the first person we cast in the film, and as soon as we finished the script, we sent it to him, and he and I talked on Skype, and I loved him, and I love him even more today. He's just a wonderfully genuine person, and I think the film, you see that. He's also one of the funniest people I've ever met. John Lithgow was cast towards the end of the process. It's always a process in casting, and his name was suggested to me, and I immediately thought that this would be something that would be really unique, to see this kind of performance from Lithgow, something which he hasn't been asked to do. But as soon as I met him, I responded to him as a person, and I felt like that person we haven't seen on screen. And though he's playing a character of Ben, he really brings a lot of himself there. And it's a kind of performance I think you'd saw in the 70s, someone which is very low-key, but very intense and very precise and very real.
Absolutely. Did you put them together to make sure that they would have a chemistry together as actors?
No, I'm not given that opportunity to tell you, in terms of once you're talking about name actors and casting. What you do is you make sure they don't hate each other.
It's important.
You make sure no one had an affair with someone else's wife or husband or anything. You know, you try to do a little background work. They actually really had known each other. There's a picture in Alfred Molina's house of he and John backstage at the Tonys.
Oh, that was really them?
That was really them.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
no photoshopping.
That was no
there.
Photoshop.
Oh, interesting.
That was backstage. And so they already had a friendship that was casual but real. In the course of this film, I would actually say, in some ways, and they would agree, they really fell in love with each other as a bromance in some ways. I mean, as two guys who just have really shared so much similarities in their histories. And on set, we couldn't really even stop them from talking and telling stories and laughing. And that joy that they experience with each other is really the central element of the relationship of Ben and George. It's why it works.
Yeah. Tell me about the piano scene, because I love that scene in the film and sort of shooting that and
yeah, it was almost the first day of the film.
Okay.
Maybe it was day 2. We shot this party where they've just been married and they sing a song together. And you know, they both are performers, and so I think that there was an element in which they were able to sing to the audience, which was their friends and community together, that was very real. They're also not, they have no shame, so they're willing to go all out. And I think that that's the pleasure you see in that scene is something the audience can really connect to.
Was it rehearsed at all, or was it sort of just improvising, letting them go?
Well, I don't rehearse any of my actors before a shoot. The two of them had worked on singing a little bit of that song, as a couple would before they're going to do it.
Yeah.
But we didn't want it to a point of a professional kind of performance. That wasn't what I was looking for. But what I try to do is capture the things that happen between actors and people on set that is unexpected. So I find that in a course of shooting a movie, you're actually doing it 15, 20 times. That's rehearsal enough. You don't need to start 2 days in advance. So I try to do that all on the day of the shoot. And I think that's where you get the quality of intimacy that you do with these performances.
Yeah, the magic moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Well, great job on the film, and great speaking to you.